Shavkat Rakhmonov is officially a ghost. No rank, no number, just 100% finish rate, sitting in the shadows. Let's talk about how the UFC removing Shavkat from the rankings is probably a good thing for the sport. But before we get into that, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Definitely helps out the channel. We definitely need it. And yeah, let's get into it. So the rankings are not a trophy case. They are a living and evolving status. And the rankings have been in conversations over, I would say, the past year, in and out of conversations where Dana wanted to fix them. He wanted to try to get AI involved. He wanted to get Meta involved in evolving how that was done, which I was definitely against that as well. But it is something that was on his mind as far as making sure that the rankings truly represent what's going on in the sport. Because as we've all noticed, there's fighters that have been hanging around in the rankings that shouldn't be ranked, either due to inactivity or due to losses. Case in point, Tai Tuivasa, 6-fight losing streak. He's still a top 15 heavyweight. Now, that might be because heavyweight's kind of trash, but Colby Covington also ranked. I believe he's ranked number 12 at this point, and he hasn't had a win since 2022. So the UFC taking a hard stance against Shavkat Rakhmonov seems a bit tough, but the facts are he hasn't fought since December of 2024. And while that was a win against Ian Gary, which firmly planted him at the top of the division, I don't think that he should stay based just on that, especially considering the fact that he did not fight in 2025. And more than likely, he's probably not going to fight in 2026. So that's going to be 2 years removed from fighting. So you can't hold on to that spot for the entirety of that time. It just doesn't sit well with not only the other fighters that are in the division, but the fans. We don't want to resent Shavkat for something that is honestly beyond his control. I'm absolutely certain that Shavkat wants to fight, and he would rather be fighting for a belt than sitting on the sidelines. So this gives him a renewed opportunity to be the boogeyman sitting outside of the rankings, because when he comes back in, he can still fight top tier competition. If you recall, Leon Edwards was in a similar situation where he was a top ranked fighter, and he really was just sitting on his ranking, and he was camping out waiting for an opportunity that suited him, and people started to resent him for it. And this, by the UFC removing a fighter who has an unfortunate situation like this, specifically tied to an injury or anything outside of the cage, with them taking that out of the fighter's hands and saying, hey, look, we know you're going to be gone when you come back. We're going to give you a really good opportunity. But until then, we're going to remove you from the rankings. It just saves them and everybody a lot of heartache and conversation that doesn't need to be had over something that they really can't control. And if they put a hard and fast rule in place, which is what I've been mentioning before, if they put a hard and fast rule of if you can't fight within, a year or even 18 months time, you should be removed from the rankings, it's going to fix a lot of this weird stuff. If you remember Conor McGregor, he hung around in the lightweight rankings for forever until they finally agreed to remove him. So you have to put something in place to where these things that's just the rule. And it's not it applies to this person and it applies to another person differently. Just make that a hard and fast rule, and it'll fix up a lot of things. And most importantly, it'll allow the divisions to move forward instead of having these people who can't fight influence how fights are being put together and how fighters are responding to potential matchups. It just makes more sense to do that. So I personally think that this is a good thing for not only the division, but the sport as a whole. And I hope that they continue to do this and even put out a hard and fast rule of a certain amount of months away from the cage, you're going to lose your ranking. And on the flip side, for Shavkat, this is actually a good thing for him too, because he doesn't have to rush his rehab. He's able to attack it the way that he needs to attack it, and he comes back fresh and ready to go. Instead of feeling rushed that he's going to lose his spot by having that number next to his name, and people in the media, as well as fans, pushing him to come back maybe even earlier than he probably should. So I think it works all the way around. But let me know what you think. What do you think that this is a good thing for the UFC? Do you think this is a good thing for fighters? And ultimately, and most importantly, do you think this is a good thing for fans? Let me know what you think in the comments. Like I said, like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you get this out to other people, and so I can get their opinions, and we'll see how this goes. But until next time.